Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome to Into the Core podcast with myself, Linda. I am so excited. Today is a beautiful day. So many beautiful things are happening. As you know, we have an upcoming event called the Pieces of Me Fashion Installation that is happening at Shamba. And I have one of my sponsors that I'm going to be talking to. But before we get to her and before I introduce who my sponsor is, let's get into the core.
Into the core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the core.
Get into it.
Into the core.
Get into
Into the core. All good things in Africa and beyond.
I will tell you one good thing that is definitely happening in Africa. Paystack. I'm so excited. I know I feel like a little giddy child. So, my guest is the amazing Caroline. Welcome to Into the Call podcast. I'm just super excited that you're here and that we get to have a conversation on the sponsorship to Into the Core and how we are going to be working together and what Paystack is. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Linda. Super excited to be here. Nice to meet everybody. Thank you for having me today.
You're most welcome. So I do have to mention that this conversation is powered by Paystack. They are my first official financial sponsor, I want to say. And when I say financial, it's always good to have a business partner that just makes things easier in your life. So this conversation is powered by Paystack. So welcome on board, Paystack. Caroline, I'm so grateful that I met you. So I was introduced to Paystack by a very good friend of mine who is also using Paystack. So one of the things that was happening for me at the back end was I was trying to look for solutions of how I could get payments from the States. So yes, we all know, yes, there's PayPal, but that requires you to be, to open accounts somewhere else, or, there's, anyway, it's a complex way of getting in. Like if you're living here. And then my friend said, why are you running around in circles? You're looking for payments for some of the designers who are coming in from South Africa, from the States, and why are you not using Paystack? I'm like, who is Paystack? So I'm going to ask you the same question because Paystack has just changed my life completely. So tell us a little bit about Paystack.
Sure, absolutely. So, hi everybody. Again, I'm Carolyn. I'm head of product for Paystack and also lead Kenya as a market. Paystack, in a very simple form, is modern payments for Africa. So we try to make it as easy as possible for businesses to collect payments in all of the different forms that payments are made across Africa in every single different jurisdiction. And then basically pay out themselves or any vendors or anyone else that they're working with. So trying to make it as easy as possible. I think payments infrastructure is something that's still being worked on across the continent, and it is so critical that part is figured out, so businesses can actually just focus on what they're created to do, right? So the core can focus on all of the big mission that you have. Payments should not be one of the things that you think about. It should be something that works seamlessly. And that's why we exist. We started in Nigeria almost 8 years ago now. We were the first Nigerian startup to get accepted into the San Francisco Y Combinator, which is a large accelerator program. And then since then, basically started establishing what card payments, what transfers payments, what the payments infrastructure looked like in Nigeria, with the goal to expand. So 4 years later, we expanded into Ghana, South Africa. Now we're in Kenya. We're continuing to expand into Cote d'Ivoire, Rwanda, Egypt, all with the goal to make it a lot easier for businesses here on the continent to take payments within their local markets, but also globally. So in this case, for example, customers coming in from abroad, being able to also support businesses that are here.
This is absolute. I mean, I think that this is so amazing, especially now that it's cutting across into the different countries in Africa, because we want to create that business. We want to be able to facilitate without any headaches. Most of the time it's like, oh, let me do a RTGS, let me do this transfer, whereas somebody will say, hey, do you have a credit card payment? Can I pay with my Apple Pay? There's always like that little cut where people are like, we can't do this. I'm so sorry. Or I have to go and speak to my bank. And then it takes 3 to 5 working days or 5 working days. And it's different from country to country. But what I do appreciate about Paystack is how easy it is to even track and financially account for what is coming in and what is going out. Sorry, I'm having a hot flash. All right. So yes. So my next question to you is like, and I want you to give the example. So I'm having my fashion platform, and we were talking about doing our pop-up. How are you facilitating for my pop-up? Because I want people to understand it.
Yeah. And I think it was really exciting sitting down with you and understanding your use case, because at the end of the day, I think we have a lot of different tools in our toolkit on our platform, either that are no code and code solutions. Yeah. And sometimes you just like what it requires is just like sitting down and understanding what exactly do you need, Linda? Let's figure it out based on what we have. And so this is a super interesting use case, which you are sponsoring or you're hosting a large event with multiple vendors or sellers or designers that want to sell their goods. And as part of that setup, you want to be able to take a cut of those payments that are collected throughout that event. And there's multiple different ways to do this, but the way that we talked about that made most sense is that you've signed up to Paystack, you've created an account with us. What we'll end up then doing is creating so I'll just pause and just take a step back. So a lot of what we've done is online payments, but one way that we've tried to make in-person payments a lot easier is basically by creating a QR code that will allow you scan and then basically be taken to an online kind of payment experience. It makes it a lot easier for folks like yourself that are doing pop-ups or want to create multiple versions of this without actually having to get POS hardware or in-person kind of hardware. So with that model in mind, what we decided was, okay, let's create what we call these virtual terminals, if you will, like QR codes, one for each of your designers. And this allows each of the designers to be able to track all of their transactions, all of their payments made through that particular QR code or that particular payment page that's unique to them. And because it's created on your account, what we've said is each transaction, we will automatically basically split out the fee that is owed to you. So if you are taking, let's say, 10% of all of the sales for that designer, we will automatically do a setting where we will split 10% to go into your account, and the rest of the 90% will go directly to the designer's account so that you don't have to hold their money. You don't have to be accountable for any of that. Exactly. We just do a direct pass through to those designers. So what allows you to do is now, you're having a large event. You can create unique QR codes for each of your designers. You can create one for ticket sales. You can create one for food vendors. And it will all go through your platform. You can take the fee that is owed you and then directly pass the money that is owed each of your vendors and each of your designers directly.
I think, especially when it comes to holding people's, so if we're talking on a financial stance, and especially with um, hosting people's money, because they'll be like, oh, but there these receipts, and no, we were owed 150. You're like, based on your QR code, unless you did something outside of your QR code, based on your QR code, this is what came in, so you're able to account for everything. And because they get a message and I get a message. So even when it comes to accounting and accountability, everybody is on the same page. So there's no did it happen, did it not happen. So I just think it's such an amazing platform, and it's truthfully stress-free, because people don't even have to think about that, because a lot of events that you go to is either cash or M-Pesa. Right? Every once in a while, yes, you'll have people who have credit card payments, but for vendors, this just makes it easier, because even if it's an American with Apple Pay or a European, it doesn't matter from which country in the world you come from, you're able to pay with your credit card, with M-Pesa, with it's just so seamless. What are some of the things that you guys are thinking of introducing in the future that you feel that that Kenyans should be excited for? Or actually, let me rephrase that, because my head is like many. What is it that should entice people to jumping into Paystack, and what is exciting about the future, especially with Paystack?
That's a great question. And there's so much to do. So I'm so excited and passionate about this space. But I would say, to take a step back, I think what is unique about us is just, I think we're trying to solve the problem for, I would say, maybe like in two large target audiences. On one side, we just we're a tech first company. I think I always say we're founded by big brains and big hearts, right? So it's folks that truly are very excited about the challenges of the problems that we're solving, but also are solving it with a big heart and a lot of care. And I think it shows up differently probably in the product experience, but also customer care, partnerships and so forth. But the first is we're a tech first company. So what we've built is we've made it super easy for developers and engineers to use all the tools that we have available to build a very robust automated payment system, whether you're a smaller company, medium, or an enterprise company, right? So what we call APIs, which basically are the building blocks for getting access to our technology. It's very, very easy to use and to build on top of. Then we have a target audience that have no developers, have no engineers, and they want to be able to grow their business and get started really easily. And so anything that we have available directly via our technology, we also have a dashboard kind of manual experience, so that small creators, small businesses who don't necessarily have the funds or the time to build their own websites or build their own technology can easily also use us and get started. And I think in both of those areas, there's still so much to do. If you think about the first, where we're targeting larger enterprises, a lot of fintechs, a lot of startups that are trying to really innovate and push the boundaries of the infrastructure and the value that's provided on the continent, having a partner like Paystack that can manage all of your payments, your flow of funds, how you move money very easily is critical. And there's so many things that I think we can still do in terms of just frog leaping, what the financial system currently does. If you look at Kenya, for example, There's still so much that we can do from a banking system perspective, but also mobile money, and also connecting those two systems that currently operate very separately,
Yeah.
which causes a lot of pain for businesses because these two systems are not interoperable. Moving money, managing money, getting a hold of inflows and outflows is quite difficult. So I think there's so much that we can do there, both using technology to solve the problem, but also in partnership with CBK, with banks that really do want to push the frontier of what's possible. So I think there's lots to do there. And then on the other side is like for creatives like yourself, what are all the ways that we can make it easier for you? I think we've solved the problem like getting started and getting paid, but how can we really help you grow? What are the tools and the mechanisms that you need to get more insight of your financial health of your business that allows you do more? I think the third part, which we haven't accessed as much, is like focusing also more on the consumer experience. A lot of what we've been doing is very focused on businesses and serving businesses, and that is going to be our primary. But as a way to serve businesses, we also want to make it easier for consumers to get paid. So exploring more in that area as well, especially as you think about crossing boundaries and somebody living in Kenya traveling to Nigeria. It's fascinating that it's easier for me to pay somebody in Sweden, where I'm originally from, than it is for me to pay my colleagues and my friends in Nigeria. That is, and so just like trying to figure out those problems as well.
It's an interesting one, right? I just think that, and also because we're such a global community and just trying to make, no longer the days that I'm connected here, you're connected here. I think the days of gatekeepers are done because we have access to so many amazing, valuable people, tools that would allow us to grow our businesses, right? So how I'm saying this for Paystack is the fact that on an African platform, and because there's so many barriers of doing business in Africa, right? Paystack is just kind of opening up that space of if I'm transacting with a company in Egypt, if I'm getting my cotton from Egypt, and I'm sourcing my fabric from there, it's so much easier to say, hey, can I pay you through Paystack? Do you have a Paystack account? Or why don't you create a Paystack account? Or even if you don't have it, here's how we're going to transact. Here is your one payment, I'm going to send you like a link so that you can just make the payments. And because they have that there now, that you guys are opening up there now, it becomes so much easier for a Kenyan to say, I'll pay them through Paystack. So much easier. Send me your one-time link, and that it's done and it's trusted and it's good. And it's money directly into your account. There's no middlemen.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think there's, and I think we're us as a payment platform as well. Our goal is for you to be able to also get paid in any way that your consumer wants to pay you. So I think there is one route, like the larger we grow, a Paystack business can pay another Paystack business, but I think for us to ensure that the pie keeps growing, if you will, it's also making sure that new payment methods that are coming available are also on our platform, because everybody wins if you're able to connect all of the folks transacting in any which way they want. If you can unify that experience, that's where the real power and the real growth really comes from. And if you look at a lot of, so we were acquired by Stripe almost like 3 years ago, but we operate quite differently. But it's quite exciting to look at kind of their challenges versus ours, where their bread and butter is from North America and Europe, and that's largely cards with maybe some bank transfers and some kind of new payment methods that are emerging, but largely it's a cards business. And
Yeah.
for us, if you take every single market here on the continent, you have multiple ways of paying somebody. In just
Yeah.
Ghana, you have, 4 or 5 different mobile money providers that you can choose. You have multiple banks, you have cards. And for us, it's really important that we are connecting everybody to the grid, right? So that nobody,
Yeah.
like, you're not left out.
Yeah.
With that, though, comes extreme, I think folks think often about like the success rates for getting money in, but if you think about the payments operations, when you want to return money, when there might be a fraud or a chargeback or all of the wahala around getting money back, that's
Yeah.
actually way more. That's where some of these like challenges really, really emerge,
Yeah.
and it's also really needed, especially if you then start thinking about cross-border transactions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes so much sense. I mean, and so congratulations. So I think I told you this story about when I first started Into the Core podcast. I love you, Anchor. So so I remember being on Anchor, and one of the things that they mentioned was like, so if you want to get paid for your sponsorships, you could only get paid for them with Stripe. And Stripe was only connected to Europe and the United States. So it's like, so how does that make sense for like an African brand that is trying to come in? But it's really equally such a comfort to know that there's Stripe that is your mothership to Paystack, because it makes a lot of financial sense, especially even for those who are using podcasts right now, figuring out your payment solutions and how people can actually, if you want a support system, if you want people to contribute to your podcast or support your podcast, there could be just like a payment link below where you could just say, I want to support you. And even if it's $1, $2, $5, $10, $100, $20,000, you could just link it like right below and say, yeah, here's your one-time payment for my podcast. If you want to contribute, it's right down here, and I just think those are some of the solutions. Like if you're looking for gratuity and people actually want to appreciate you and your conversation, simple and easy. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I really,
I think Stripe is, I've been in the fintech space for a long time now, and Stripe for me has always been kind of the gold standard of fintechs across the world. So it's quite it's a serendipitous kind of, I think, collision of paths, hard work. So I wouldn't say it's luck, but hard work from a lot of the team members at Paystack. It's a really good partnership as we think about, this is a long-term game, right? So building the payments infrastructure across the continent is, I feel like we're just getting started. So I think it's a great partnership.
At some time, Caroline, I'm going to really go back into this interview and say that, oh yeah, I got a hold of Caroline, because I feel like you are about to become super busy. And I know that that's the trajectory that you are heading into, especially with Paystack, is to really be the solution to a lot of people's problems, and I call it problems because I had a problem and you solved it. I had a problem and you solved it. I'm really excited. So I wanna put this into a space of I'm happy to have, and I'm not even just happy. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I do jumping jacks every day, honestly, because to have Paystack as my sponsor, and this is not like paid sponsorship, guys. This is like real. For me, it's from the heart, is when you find a solution-based platform that could support your business in so many other different facets. Because I believe like we've only touched base, like one little strip. We've talked about the pop-up solution, but there's so many other layers to Paystack that I feel a lot of you will be engaging in. So on my next podcast, we will have our Paystack video, just basically running you guys through how Paystack could be the solution to your businesses and to you as an individual equally. You know, even if you're thinking of starting your business, sometimes it's like good to start from somewhere. Start with your finance, get into that.
Figure out how you get paid for the business. It's a good one.
Figure out how you get paid for the business, and then just be like, so this is how I'm going to get paid. So now we just need to figure out how the money is going to get into this situation. On a final note, I really want to I want you to kind of allow people to what is the words that I'm using? Allow people to understand why they should sign up with Paystack and why Paystack should be their solution for them individually and as a company, large or small. Skyward Express, hello, welcome on board. Paystack.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I think I think just the user experience on all levels. It doesn't matter if you're the developer at your company or the finance or CEO. I think on all levels, it's an extremely easy to use experience. We focus a lot on product quality, product reliability. For us, we choose to go deeper to ensure quality. I think we pride ourselves in simple, elegant solution, and with simplicity comes a lot of hard work. And we care, and I think this is the best group of humans I've ever worked with, brilliant minds, and so I think we're super keen to connect with you and to explore how we can solve your problems.
I'm just encouraging businesses to really just my words of wisdom to you guys today is to go in, check out Paystack. They've got some videos that you could also look up online, and that would be able to allow you to see what Paystack is about. But I also feel that the moment you sign up and you start running through and understanding how and what is happening from your dashboard, it just becomes even equally more exciting, because then you want to create even more that could contribute to your dashboard. Because, you know, I'm looking at product pages, I'm looking at your storefronts, I'm looking at solutions for you on a marketing space that would just allow a seamless integration between your customer and Paystack as your motherboard at that point. So I'm just going to encourage everybody. And also all our tickets for the Into the Core fashion installation that's happening at Shamba on the April 26th are available through Paystack. And we have shared a link. It's on our IG, it's on our Facebook. So make sure you click the links and you get your ticket. We've got some great surprises for the first 100 people who will be purchasing their tickets. It's so good. It is so good. I know we're last minute people, Kenyans, but let's do something special. I don't know what that is. All I can say is, like, the first 100 people, you guys are going to walk away with some amazing. I don't even know what to call it. We have built something around for everybody, and it's just going to be so beautiful. So what the perks that you walk away with from that 100 tickets, you get your digital magazine, and in that digital magazine is just like hoorah. And if you're thinking about plans for the rest of the year, they're all in there. Solutions and to be paid for through Paystack. So yes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the event at the end of this month. I will definitely be there.
Absolutely. If you're not there, Caroline will find you. We've got trackers on you. But
I'll
I'm
be there
so
setting up the QR code. So
Absolutely. Yes, you'll be there. And so, for everybody, if you guys want any other additional information, please, you can get into my DMs, you can comment below. But I feel like Paystack is your way to go. And especially when you're looking at finance and projecting and getting things done, this is a way. We found our solution. Mine is Paystack. I don't know about you. So, let me know. Yeah,
Um,
that's a whole
and also
advertisement
my
on its own.
email, if you want to email me directly, if you're interested, it's caroline@paystack.com. So quite easy.
Caroline@paystack.com. I need to just hold on. I'm gonna crop this in. Hold on.
Feel free to reach out.
Caroline@paystack.com. Hold on. Loading up. All right. So for anybody who is looking for any information, right there, we got it. Caroline@paystack.com. Easy breezy. So get in touch with Caroline. Let's see how we can make some great business happening throughout Africa. If you're looking into Rwanda, they got you. If you're looking into Egypt, they got you. Ghana, Nigeria, all the beautiful spaces actually that we should be visiting. Fashion tourism, you heard it right here. Paystack has got you. And let's make business great and beautiful in Africa and beyond. So, yes, thank you so much for powering our conversation, Caroline. Thank you, Paystack. I'm excited.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for having
Any
me.
final last words?
I'm really excited for what you're creating with the core. It's been really special to connect with you, and so we're very excited to work with you on this.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you, guys. If you are watching much later on, just make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow Paystack. Make sure you reach out to Caroline. It's caroline@paystack.com. And let's make business work. That's what it's about. Collaborations and connections. All right. Have a
Buy your
beautiful
tickets early.
Christmas. Yes, get your tickets early. First 100 people. I promise you this. First 100 people, I have something amazing for you. And you're not going to regret it. Trust. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye.
Ciao.